Hello and welcome to chapter 10. I am redoing this entire video after I already did it one time, actually two times. The first time I went through the whole thing and it didn't take. So I'm hoping this one takes. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into this. Hopefully this will be about 20 minutes and we'll be done. So pay attention, go back if you need to. I'm going to skip through a lot. There's only a few things in here that I really want you to know for this chapter. All right, so let's start moving. All right, again, chapter starts off with a vignette that carries you through. Motivation, what is it? How do you become motivated? So simply speaking, it's a stimulus that can direct behavior, thinking, and feeling. Motive behavior is guided, it's energized, and it's persistent. Anything that creates motivation has to guide you through. You have to have energy, be energized by it. And motivated people are persistent to get the incentive or that end goal that they want. And of course, incentives are a big thing with motivation. So, and there's all different kinds of motivators. You're intrinsically motivated and you're extrinsically motivated. So I'm gonna touch on all that. Here we go. So extrinsic motivation, what I want you to know about that is think of external and intrinsic internal. So extrinsic motivation comes from something that you're going to get in return. So that could mean you do something in class, you get extra credit. You're told you'll get extra credit for something. Or you do chores and you get, oh my gosh, allowance. A lot of people, if their parents were like, hey, just do chores, but you're not going to get anything, most would be like, yeah, I'm okay. But if you were to do it just because, that would be intrinsic motivation. That is just the urge to do something just for the sake of doing it, with no rewards, just internal reinforcers. So it's not, these are very, and I shouldn't say that extrinsic people are not selfless because they definitely are. But the difference between the two is kind of one, you're looking to get something extrinsic, and the other, you're just doing it just because. All right, we're skipping over this. All right, instincts are your complex behaviors. They're fixed, they're unlearned. It's just something that's inborn that you just have those. And let me tell you, trust them. All right, we're not really going to cover this. All I am going to tell you, well, I will cover it a little. The drive reduction theory is a three-part. You've got your homeostasis, your needs, and your drive. Homeostasis basically is your sense of balance. You want to be in homeostasis as much as possible because then you're living in a balanced state. Your needs are both physiological and psychological, and that must be maintained at a baseline or a constant state. And then you have your drives. Those involves a state of tension that pushes us or motivates things to satisfy that need. So you've got your balance, you've got the things that you need both physiologically and psychologically, and then your drives that satisfy that need. All right, skipping through. All right, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you want to know this. Specifically, what I really want you to know is that safety needs are the most important need. So remember that one. They do run on a continuum. They're not exactly perfect. Like Kubler-Ross's stages of dying, they can go intermittently depending on where life is at right now. But you have your physiological needs, your safety, love and belongingness, and esteem. We're going to touch on that in just a minute. And then the last two that are the higher ones, your self-actualization and your self-transcendence. Now, most people don't get to self-transcendence because those are your really extraordinary levels of outside of consciousness, where you are looking for a higher truth, you are looking for just the meaning of life, very selfless people. These are your people like Jesus, Gandhi, Mother Teresa. So those types of people. But self-actualizers, those are people like it could be you, it's definitely me, people that just strive to be their best self and to reach their fullest potential. It doesn't mean going to college unless that is what it is for you, but it means that doing the best in life that's good for you. All right, so Maslow's hierarchy suggests a certain order of needs, again, not set in stone, so it can run in different cycles. Safety is a basic need, often relegated in the pursuit of something more transcendent. So again, I'm going to get to that. All right, so here is where it is. So your physiological needs, you have to have these. These are the things like food and water and sleep, things that you need for survival. But then you have your safety needs. You have to feel safe and secure. You have to believe that there's stability in your life, and you have to have protection and shelter. Without these things, really the physiological aspects are kind of a moot point, because if you're not safe, then that's danger, and you need to be safe. So just remember that this is the most important need. Then you've got your love and belongingness. Those are your bonds that you have with your family, with your close, friend group, your community. It is what it makes you feel like that there's purpose in life, purpose for living, purpose for doing things, purpose for having that drive and that will to be successful. And then your esteem, that's being independent financially, that is completing your education if that's what you want to do, or any type of career field. And it's feeling competent, feeling that when you do something, you can look back and say, I did that. So again, you want to strive for all the positives of this. Self-actualizers, again, that is, I already went over that. It's being fulfilled, being the best at what you do, and being just creative in your own way. And that doesn't mean art, it can be, but it just means what is your creativity? And again, self-transcendence, that's the last one, that was kind of the newest. And that is just being, you're going for a cause, you're dedicated to something, a spiritual experience, just again, thinking outside of the self. All right, the self-determination theory, the three components of this, again, not needed for a test. You need to feel competent. So you need to feel like you've mastered things in your life. You need to feel that you are relatable, that you connect to people, that you connect meaningful relationships, and that you're autonomous. People want to, Erickson has that in his theories too. Being autonomous is being able to reach your own goals through yourself and your own needs and feeling accomplished. Gonna skip through this. This. I'm not going to cover this too much because this is all very biological, physiological, and you will notice that in every chapter, biology is going to be mentioned, because everything that is biological, like I always say, is simultaneously psychological. They work hand in hand. So I'm going to cover a little bit about this, but not too much. Again, if you're interested in motivation and emotion as a career choice in psychology, they offer a whole class on this for your undergrad. Okay, so let's move on through. I will touch on obesity right here. This is the only part I'm going to cover, and you can look more on this on page 384. So if you're looking to, let's say, lose weight, and again, losing weight is good if you need to, but dieting is like a bad word. I don't even like using that word, because diets don't work. You go on one, you lose weight, and then when the diet is over, your body's like tricked, and then it just goes back to the weight that you were, if not worse. So if you really want to lose weight and you want it to be consistent, what you need to do is make sure that you have a lifestyle change. Lifestyle changes means that you're going to set these realistic goals. They're not going to be like, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in a week. That's not realistic. The way to make things last, relationships, jobs, losing weight, is to be realistic about it. So set those goals, set your expectations, and be flexible, meaning, hey, I lost a few pounds. I want to eat that donut. Well, make a deal with yourself. Maybe don't eat the whole donut. Maybe eat half of it, but treat yourself because if you don't, then you're going to backslide. Exercise regularly. Now, of course, most of us don't like to. I know I don't, but it doesn't mean you have to go to the gym. It doesn't mean that you have to like jog around all over the place. You can walk, go to the beach, just walk around the house, do something consistent. You want to try to do it 5 days a week. Start with 3 days a week, but do something that becomes a habit because these are good habits. And then eat regularly and track your intake. So set a schedule. Try not to mindless eat. Try to like talk to yourself. And I don't mean like a crazy person, but like talk to yourself. When you're eating, are you like, okay, am I eating because I'm hungry? Or am I eating because I'm bored or I'm mad or I'm sad? So track those things. And then instead, just go have a glass of water. I can't stand water, but listen, I started drinking it because in my FabFitFun box, I got this really cool water bottle. So I'm like, all right, after 48 years, I don't drink water. I got a cool bottle. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Plus, everybody's on my butt about it. All right, enough. All right, so control your portions. One strategy you can use is using a smaller plate. They actually do studies in restaurants that they'll use smaller plates to make it appear that you're getting more food when really you're not. So you can trick yourself, even though you know this, you can trick your brain into thinking that you're eating more. Again, drink water, flavor it with lemon, with cucumbers, with strawberries, something to make it taste more appealing. Because like I said, I can't stand water. And then, if you feel like you can't do this alone, it's not bad to join a weight loss support group. Now, I don't mean a program like somewhere you have to pay, but somewhere that you're around other people that can lift you up when you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to go eat my face off. So some other person or people that's going to promote wellness in your life. All right, so emotions, it's a psychological state. It's your subjective inner experience. There's a physiological component, and then obviously a behavioral expression. Um, so the question they ask in the book is, think about the last time you felt joyous. I don't mean happy. Happy, I don't really use a lot. But when did you ever, when can you look back and say, wow, that was a time in my life I felt really good about how things were going? What were your inner experiences? How was your body reacting? And what would someone have noticed about your behavior? Think about how you act every day when you walk around. What do people, not that anybody cares what like you care what other people think, but what I'm saying is for your own inner peace, it's like if people looked at you, what would they say? What would they think about your emotional state? So it's kind of good to put yourself in check. Um, this reminds me of the Ising wheel of the stable, unstable, introverts and extroverts. This is just a high arousal, unpleasant, high arousal, pleasant, and then low arousal, pleasant, and then unpleasant. Obviously, you want to try to be in this area. Okay. All right, so then there are theories of emotions. You have three theorists. You have the James Longa, two people, theory. You've got Cannon Bard, and then you have Schachter Singer. The one I want you to know is the Schachter Singer. So I'm going to skip over these because I'm going to go, I feel like charts help better. All right, so when you look at this, according to the James Longa theory, your emotional state, let's say you have the thing that's similar is there's an oncoming car. So you're driving, you see this car. According to the James Longa theory, your heart starts pounding and then you feel fear. Well, the next theorist said, I don't think it really happens like that. I think you're driving, the oncoming car is coming, and simultaneously at the same time, your heart is pounding and you feel fear. That's the emotional state. Now, even though there's criticisms with every theory, but the Schachter-Singer theory is the one that has stuck the most. So this is the one I want you to remember, and it is the two-factor theory. So you see this oncoming car, your heart starts pounding, and then at the same time, the cognitive label, the thought is, oh my gosh, I'm afraid, or whoa, what is going to happen? Then you feel the fear. So it's like you see the car, the two things happening are the pounding heart and the thought of, oh no, then you feel fear. So think about a time that, you had this like whoa moment. What theorist do you agree with? All right, I'm gonna click on over here. We're boogieing right through. Polygraphs, I don't even like to even cover those. I mean, I put them in here, but basically they're not admissible in court. A sociopath can totally trick a polygraph. So really, there is no, I mean, they use them for some things, but it's not perfected just yet. All right. This just talks about theories of emotion, and basically, in a nutshell, emotions are universal. So smiles are universal. How somebody smiles in the United States is the same as somebody in Kenya. It's the same as somebody in China. There are certain basic emotions that are universal. When you smile, you can look at a person and tell, oh, they might be happy. When you see somebody that's sad, they have a frown, you can say, oh, they're sad. When you see somebody like crinkling their forehead, they're angry. So basically just saying that, these types of emotions are universal. Okay. Again, that goes in with your basic emotions that apply to everything: happiness, sadness, surprise, fear, and disgust and anger. All right, the biology of fear, again, more biological stuff. Just know that the amygdala is what is responsible for your fear response. So when you become afraid, when you want to run, when you become angry, those are all controlled by the amygdala, which are these two almond-shaped pieces here that are located in your temporal lobe in your brain. Positive psychology, I absolutely love positive psych. It was one of my favorite classes. You can take this in your undergrad. This is just focusing on the positive things. So if you're going to therapy, a positive psychologist may, instead of looking at the illness or the, what is going wrong, they're going to focus on the goals of well-being and getting to a state of fulfillment and not really looking at the negative stuff. They're going to address it, but they're going to focus on, okay, how can we get through this in a positive way? So that's what positive psychology is. The biology of happiness, it's heritable. So basically, in about 35 to 50% of people, if your biological parents or parents are happy people, that kind of like trickles down into your temperament, and it's pretty fixed. So to increase happiness, people tend to habituate to new feelings of happiness. They seek contentment because it's important. If you're looking for happiness, you're not going to find it. The most important thing is to look for contentment, being okay, feeling good about yourself, just feeling like, okay, I don't have to be happy all the time. I don't have to be whatever, but contentment, yes, contentment breeds happiness. So when you feel like all is right in the world, that leads to a happier state of mind. And that is it. Oh, I did it less than 20 minutes. And I have my camera on this time, and you know what I love to do at the end of the video. So I will be boogieing and putting on a new video very shortly. So with that, my friends, peace.